Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Dental Voice Season 3 with Zyrus. My name is Rolando Mea, and we have a returning guest, Dr. Jason Auerbach. First of all, thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining us. Really looking forward to talking to you. Appreciate it, especially at the end of your day.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always good to talk to you, for sure.
All right. By the way, I put on my my Zyrus hoodie for you, so we're good here.
I like that. And like I said, I need one of those for sure. For sure.
All
And
right.
actually, I think you need one of these. So,
All right, there you
know
go.
what I mean.
So,
Done deal.
I want to get into this, and I want to ask you a question, and been looking forward to talking to you here. I've been watching your posts with the bloody tooth guy, and it's amazing that you've been able to take these incredibly, sometimes pretty graphic procedures, and you've been posting them, and it's like they're amazing. People are aspiring. I mean, think about it. They're aspiring to be like the bloody tooth guy. How does that make you feel that people are aspiring to be you?
It's kind of, I'm a little conflicted on that. I mean, it's good for the ego, but I would say that I think it's kind of a sign of the times. I've probably said this a bunch of times. I don't know if I've said it to you. I'm sure I actually have. I think that people should aspire to be the best that they are, and to really kind of optimize whatever it is that they're delivering, rather than try to be me. But I think that the sentiment behind it, which is that they appreciate what I do and that they appreciate and respect kind of what I'm putting out there, is certainly appreciated, like more so than most people know.
Wow. So when you started this whole process and you were building and you kind of entered into this, did it like occur to you that people were going to resonate with what you were doing, and that all of a sudden you'd have this following, and that the artistry or the craft that you're building here was going to happen? Or did it just happen?
I think it just happened. It didn't just happen. It happened over time, which I think is important to keep perspective on. So I started this account in 2015, in February of 15. So we're now 6 years into it. I started the account before there was video on Instagram, before there were stories, reels, anything like that. So I was able to kind of build a base of actual followers at a time where I don't think a lot of people really even understood the power of Instagram, certainly not within the dental world. I mean, there were very few other oral surgery accounts at the time, very few dentistry accounts other than these kind of large mass like this dental or that dental. But I think as time has gone on, and I like to think I was maybe a little bit ahead of the curve, the account has grown, and awareness on Instagram, social media in general, has grown. I mean, there was no TikTok. Maybe there was TikTok, but I didn't know of TikTok. Snapchat was a thing, but social media in general has grown tremendously over this last half a decade, and I've been lucky to kind of be there in its infancy, at least in our world.
So when you're doing things, how do you pick what you're going to put out there? What's kind of the logic behind it? Do you take feedback from people, or do you just kind of post what you want to post?
Do I take feedback from people? I've been taking feedback from Instagram, which is to say that as time has gone on, there are more and more of my posts that are seen, and all of our colleagues have spoken about this, and we all kind of DM about this. There's a lot out there that's considered sensitive, or like we're putting things out there. Of course, oral surgery is to some people a little bit disheartening, and so I think that we're living in a world where we have to be considerate of what people may or may not perceive as too sensitive for their eyes. So that's something that I'm dealing with right now, trying to figure out how to put my stuff out there in a way that is helpful for my audience and what my audience wants, which is to say they want surgical footage, but in a way that's not considered offensive to other people. I just do think that we're at a time right now, seeing how Instagram is being used in these little microcosms, that maybe they need to consider little kind of subgroups or opt-ins or opt-out of this kind of sensitive content warning. If you're following Bloody Tooth Guy or any account like me, like mine, and there are many, then you maybe it's not, maybe you don't need the warning when it's an oral maxillofacial surgical photo or video or something. I don't know.
So when people are trying to kind of hone their craft, when other dentists are they're looking to kind of do something similar, something themselves, what kind of advice would you give them? What kind of feedback would you give them to kind of, you know, help them along or give them something to think about?
I mean, I think for anything, you have to kind of be you, right? So anything that you're putting out there has to really reflect who you are. I think otherwise you're dealing with a sophisticated audience who is going to be able to see right through you. And, you know, it's interesting because when social media started and even like, you know, let's say text started, the tone was difficult. People weren't sure like what it was or anything like that. But people really are involved and they're immersed and they understand and they're scrolling. They know what's real and what's not real, and it comes through. It's just like anything. It's like life, right? I mean, your social network of human beings understand you or like you or they don't like you, and whatever it is, based on who you are. And if you're not really you, they know it. And no matter what you do, no matter how kind of you try to curate your image or curate what's out there, if it's not coming through as honest and authentic, it's not going to play, or at least not in the long run.
Wow, appreciate that. That's interesting. You need to be you. You know, I'm from Jersey. You're living in Jersey. You're from Jersey. I've got kind of this mindset that, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do. With regard to what other people are doing, is it possible to actually figure out what people like, or is it just about going through and sharing what you're doing and then just keep doing it? What's kind of your thoughts around that?
You know, I think that you can look at it from a couple of different approaches. I'm sure there are analytical tools out there to say, like, when I post this type of image at this time of day on this day of the week, or this type of post that this garners more attention or more likes, more engagement, whatever it is. But I'm not that type of person. I put out there what feels right at the moment. I now again have to think a little bit about it with the sensitive posts. There was a time where I had lost my music. Now I have some music back. So that forced me to think about what I was going to put out there, what type of content. But I think if you listen to anyone who's really kind of in the know in this world, you push a lot of content out there. You see what works. You revise it to some degree. I'm fortunate that I'm not dependent on Bloody Tooth Guy for for a living, and I'm not trying to not that I'm not trying to do anything with it, but it's not something where I'm like trying to build and build and build and build. I definitely want it. It's good for me. I feel good about it. Makes me feel like I'm doing something good. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that for me, it's kind of like a side hustle, if you will, right? So I work, right? I have my practice. I work with my two hands every day, all day. I have multiple offices, and we're constantly looking to build the business side of the practice, without letting the practice suffer in any way, which is really an interesting balance. I have a family. I have a social life, even despite the fact that we're kind of still in COVID. Not kind of, we're still dealing with COVID. And then I have Bloody Tooth Guy, which I do love. I love it. It's a labor of love, but it's a labor for sure to some degree.
Yeah, and I it's interesting. What's resonating with me and what you're saying is this is part of, well, your craft or your focus is being an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. And as a function of that, there's a really strong educational bent to the posts that you're making. And it just strikes me as you're looking to educate and you're looking to provide information or share, let me put it that way, things that you're dealing with, because there is definitely that aspect of it. But then also it's kind of, you share things that you find interesting. You share things that you find are the things that you discovered. So there's an educational bent. I like the context of your side hustle. You're not, in other words, you're not trying to create content for everyone to like. You're creating content because you think it's interesting, because you think it's important, and that type of stuff. Is that what I heard you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, that's definitely a big part of it. I mean, the account has evolved tremendously. You know, when I started posting things on Instagram, I was just posting pictures that I thought were visually appealing in a sixth sense, right? They were actually not even visually appealing at first. It was just like pictures of bloody teeth. I know I've said that a bunch of times. And then as I realized, like, this is a little bit of an interesting thing, I would put the bloody teeth in different poses and stuff like that. I've really kind of gotten away from that. The account has been, I'm sorry about that. Am I back with you? I'm good?
Yeah, there you go.
Can you see me?
I can see
so
you.
The account has become excellent. So the account has become much more about education and kind of showing people the way, but it didn't start out that way. I didn't really even know who my audience was at first. I don't know that there was a way to know who my audience was at first. Now I know. It's, you know, completely international. I know the gender breakdown. I know the countries, the cities. I know where everyone's coming from, and it's really interesting and exciting for me to see where my audience is and what they're looking for. And, you know, I've made some real, like, friends, relationships through this thing, and it's been amazing. And I'm interested to see where it goes. I know enough to know at this point in my life, I have no clue where it's going, but I'm kind of excited to see where it's going.
That's so cool. I mean, imagine you're out with your family or your kids, and people, do they recognize you? They're like, wait a minute, you're a doctor. Do your kids realize that you're like, my dad's famous? Is that or no?
So a little bit. I mean, so it's not really. I have been out where people are like, "Oh, you bloody tooth guy," whatever. But, you know, I live in a county in northern New Jersey where, you know, I see a lot of people, thankfully. So more people like see me as the guy who took out their kids' wisdom teeth or you know, something like that. And my kids deal with that. But I have 2 teenage daughters, you know, so I don't know how impressive I am to them. I'm just like I'm annoying. I'm embarrassing. I am definitely not always the nicest, but, you know, I'm trying. I'm just a middle-aged dad in New Jersey.
I'm dad. So wait a minute. So COVID has not left us, and if I understand correctly, you ran into, or you got COVID. Is that right?
Yeah, I had COVID back mid-November. You know, very, very fortunate. Like, this might sound a little crazy. I believe kind of like in the universe, right? Like, I think that things kind of work in kind of mysterious ways. A year ago, I was sitting, a year and a half ago, last November 2019, I was sitting in my office talking to my office manager at the time, and I said, you know, why am I working? It's my birthday. And I think I'm done with that. Like, I think I don't want to work on my birthday anymore. So this is November 17th is my birthday. So she's like, okay, you're not going to work next year. So she blocked me out. November 17th of 2020 was a Tuesday. November 16th, she's like, take off Monday and Tuesday. So I had like a dinner party, which was like an indoor-outdoor dinner party. Not good, but real. We were with this small group of like people that we were hanging out with, indoor, outdoor, and we had been hanging out with them since March. So it was like a little cohort, like what most everyone was doing, and got COVID out of the office on Friday night of November 13th, Friday the 13th, and then woke up Monday to hear that one of the people didn't feel so well, so they got tested. Turned out that person was positive. Tuesday night, I went and got tested because I was supposed to go to work on Wednesday, but I turned out to be positive and didn't go to work on Wednesday, and so I was out of my office. So fortunately, it didn't enter the walls of the practice, right? Which was to me the biggest deal. So I got sick. It was not fun. It knocked me on my butt. Thank God I never had really high fever. Thank God I never had any real respiratory stuff. But it really, first few days were intense pain and chills and this kind of stuff, and really significant exhaustion, followed by another few days of really not such great feeling.
Oh.
But ultimately got better. My wife was fine too, and we got through it.
Well, first of all, I'm so happy that things are good and that you're back. Did
Thank
it
you.
make you miss kind of your dentistry? Did it make you miss the activities and kind of all the things that you were doing because you basically got knocked on your butt?
Yeah. Yeah. It made me miss that a lot. I mean, I love what I do. I think that comes through, and I think that's actually part of why the account is as successful as it is. I really, I felt, yeah, I hate not being in the office. I mean, I like it for a few days sometimes when I like,
Right.
to take some time off. But I really do, I do love what I do, and not being able to do it is definitely, it used to be a lot more anxiety provoking. Had I had COVID like in the first few years of my practice, and like not been able to be here for my referring doctors and all that, I would have been very concerned about the health of the practice. Thank God that has become, less of a concern as time has gone on. But I will tell you definitively, I missed it, and yeah, I'm happy I'm back for sure. I've been back now for 4 months, 5 months,
That's
so it's
so
good. But
so advice. What advice would you give people with regard to how, top 1, 2, or 3 things of how, how to maintain that and how, being out made you realize how much you missed it, right? And thank goodness you're healthy, you look fantastic. What
I don't know
advice would
about
you give
that.
people? What
What
advice?
advice would I give? Look, I think that, the longer your career, the more you realize that there are going to be ups and downs, in every aspect of life, right? So, you have to keep challenging yourself. You have to find things that you're going to be challenged by, expand your scope, expand your mind, expand your interests, whatever it is, and constantly be pushing yourself to do new things, whether that's within the profession with your hands, or through business ventures or outside interests, art, music, sports, whatever it is that you do. I think that really always looking for new and exciting things to do is something you have to do. I mean, you're evolving constantly as a human being, and so it only kind of would follow from that you would be doing different things. And then I think, kind of take pleasure in the little things, right? I mean, every one of us are very fortunate to be in a profession that allows us to interact with human beings on a daily basis, work with our hands, work with our minds, work with other people, professional people, and people that are generally appreciative for what we do, right? So every single day I get to come to a place where people they come in scared, but they leave very, very appreciative, almost blown away appreciative, which is my goal, by what we do. So, just think about that. Think about being in a profession where every day someone is thanking you and complimenting you and showing you appreciation. I mean, that's priceless. And then I think, another thing is just take time for yourself, right? Like you need to just kind of sometimes sit back, relax, enjoy, whether that's scrolling Instagram or that's reading a book or playing an instrument or having dinner with friends and family, whatever it is that's important to you, do that, because that's time is like the ultimate commodity, especially as you get older, you realize that.
That's so cool. First of all, thank you for sharing that. When you look at people like the Bloody Tooth guy, and you look at the success of Riverside Oral Surgery, and you look at the things you've been doing, and it's awe-inspiring to look at the skill and everything. And then what I really appreciate, Dr. Jason, is that you're a guy. You're a regular guy. You're a father. you're a family man. You're a dork dad who is probably embarrassing his daughters because of being who you are.
True story.
Yeah, you get scared about stuff. You love things. You don't like things. And you know that what resonated strongly for me when you gave the advice is that, you know, go find what it is, and, you know, cherish, revel, enjoy the fact that you come in and people are scared coming in, freaked out, and afterwards they're like, oh my goodness, thank you for making me feel better, for fixing me, for helping me. And that really resonates well. So thank you for sharing that. That's pretty
No,
cool.
I appreciate that. No trouble. No trouble.
Well, hey, first of all, I love that you're willing to take the time for us, especially at the end of your day. I love how you put a baseball cap on so that you don't embarrass me with your cough. So I'm liking that.
I gotta say, there are selfish reasons too. I've been in a surgical cap all day. Like, you know, the hair doesn't.
Oh,
look so
come
good.
on, then you've got the. But I also love that there's a passion that you have. There's an ownership of what you do, and it's not that you don't care what people think. It's that you're doing what you love, and you're continuing that. And I took that away very strongly. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Great to see you. Always, truly.
Yeah. Hey, so, hey, folks, if you like this, really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please reach out to Dr. Jason Auerbach, the Bloody Tooth Guy. This is Cyrus. My name is Rolando. At some point here, I'd love to have you back again and see how things are going. And would you be willing to spend some more time and let me ask you crazy questions?
Anytime. I'll talk about anything at any time, always.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Please be safe. Again, if you ever find yourself in Santa Barbara, please let me know. Let us know, because we're going to do stupid stuff. So there you go.
Love it. Love it. Have
All
a
right.
great one.
All right. Take care.